Breaking news. A massive alien fleet has just challenged Earth, but they made a critical mistake. For centuries, we've wondered, are we alone? But when the answer finally came, it wasn't peaceful. A fleet of advanced extraterrestrial warships emerged from deep space, heading straight for Earth. Their goal? Total domination. But what happened next shocked the entire universe. Humanity wasn't as weak as they thought. Science, strategy, and one crucial flaw in their plan turned the tables in a way no one expected. How did Earth manage to fight back? And what happens next? Stay with us as we uncover the biggest alien miscalculation in history. It started as a whisper in the depths of space, a strange, unidentifiable signal picked up by one of NASA's deep space observatories. At first, it was dismissed as background noise, a mere anomaly in the cosmic static. But within hours, the whispers turned into a terrifying reality. A fleet of unknown objects was moving toward Earth, and they were not drifting randomly. They had purpose, they had direction, and they were coming straight for us. A shadow in the sky. Astronomers across the world scrambled to their telescopes. Satellite feeds lit up with data, and intelligence agencies locked onto the anomaly. The sheer scale of the fleet was beyond comprehension. Hundreds of colossal blackened ships, each the size of a city, moving in perfect formation. They traveled faster than anything humanity had ever recorded, bending the very fabric of space as they closed the distance. Then came the first true moment of fear, when their trajectory confirmed the worst. They weren't bypassing our solar system. They weren't heading for Mars. They were heading for Earth. The world reacts panic spread like wildfire. Governments went into emergency meetings. Scientists worked around the clock to analyze the fleet, hoping to determine their intent. Were they invaders, explorers, or something far worse? The world watched as every space agency, from NASA to the European Space Agency, tried to communicate. No response. SETI, the organization dedicated to listening for alien signals, sent out desperate messages across multiple frequencies. Still, silence. Then, the images started coming in. A fleet unlike anything we've seen. High-resolution telescopes and deep space probes revealed details that sent shivers down the spine of every scientist on the planet. The ships were perfectly symmetrical, their surfaces absorbing light like a void in space. No visible propulsion systems, no heat signatures, no recognizable markings, just cold, eerie precision. But the most disturbing part? They didn't slow down. Unlike asteroids, which tumble through space unpredictably, these ships moved with terrifying purpose and efficiency. Whatever technology they were using was far beyond anything Earth had developed. Physicists theorized they had some form of gravitational propulsion, manipulating the very fabric of space to move effortlessly. They didn't burn fuel. They didn't expel gases. They simply moved. Detection and analysis. Military radars picked up electromagnetic anomalies surrounding the fleet, suggesting shields or cloaking technology beyond our comprehension. Satellites scanning for weapon signatures found strange energy pulses along their hulls, possibly a power source unlike anything on Earth. Some believed they were scanning us, reading every detail about our planet before deciding their next move. Others feared the worst, that the scan wasn't for research, it was for targeting. A silent threat by now, global superpowers had mobilized. The US, China, Russia, and the European Union placed their military forces on high alert. Earth's most advanced space weapons, laser defense systems, nuclear warheads, kinetic impactors, were primed and ready. But the real question was, would it even matter? We were facing an unknown force, a civilization capable of interstellar travel, something humanity had only dreamed of. If they had mastered light-speed travel, gravity manipulation, and energy weapons, could our missiles, bullets, and outdated war strategies even make a difference? Still, the world held its breath, waiting for the first sign of intent. Would they send a message? Would they demand surrender? Would they simply eradicate us without warning? And then, it happened. A single, untranslatable signal was transmitted from the leading ship. The signal had been sent. A challenge. It wasn't a declaration of peace. It wasn't an attempt at diplomacy. It was something colder, something calculated, a statement of dominance. For a brief moment, the world seemed to pause. Billions of people held their breath, waiting for governments and scientists to decipher the message. But deep down, everyone already knew what it meant. The alien fleet had arrived with one purpose: to conquer. The invaders had made their first mistake before even reaching Earth. They assumed humanity would be weak, that our civilizations were divided, that our primitive technology would crumble under their superior firepower. They were wrong. The moment the fleet's trajectory was confirmed, Earth's greatest minds came together in a way never seen before. Scientists, military strategists, and world leaders put aside their differences. For the first time in human history, there were no borders, no separate nations, only Earth standing as one. And Earth was ready to fight back. The aliens had underestimated one crucial thing: human adaptability. Unlike them, we weren't bound by a single way of thinking. We were chaotic, unpredictable, relentless. They expected to see conventional warfare, missiles, fighter jets, maybe even nuclear warheads. What they didn't anticipate was the level of scientific ingenuity humanity had developed in secret. The world's most powerful defense systems, hidden deep within classified military projects, were years ahead of what was publicly known. Quantum-based energy weapons, electromagnetic railguns, and experimental gravitational shields. Technology the world's governments had quietly developed, waiting for the right moment to reveal them. That moment was now. As the alien fleet entered Earth's orbit, expecting no resistance, the first counterattack began. A network of high-energy particle disruptors, hidden in space stations disguised as satellites, activated in unison. The impact was immediate. Several alien ships flickered, their shields struggling to maintain cohesion against energy signatures they had never encountered before. Their second mistake? They had assumed Earth's technology was primitive. Their third? They underestimated the human will to survive. Because when the first wave of their ships faltered, humanity did not hesitate. Every military force on the planet launched into action. Hypersonic drones, directed energy beams, electronic warfare systems capable of scrambling enemy communications. The alien fleet had arrived believing Earth was defenseless. Instead, they had walked into a battlefield they never saw coming. And this was only the beginning. The first shockwave had already rippled through the alien fleet. Their ships, engineered with what they believed to be impenetrable defenses, had flickered, their energy fields destabilizing under the impact of Earth's unexpected counterattack. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. To them, Earth was nothing more than an infant civilization, technologically backward, divided by politics, bound to a single planet. They had anticipated a swift, effortless victory, a species too primitive to resist, but they had made a catastrophic miscalculation. For all their advancements in technology, The aliens had failed to understand one fundamental truth. Humans do not surrender easily. We are not the strongest species in the universe. We do not have the sharpest claws, the thickest hides, or the fastest reflexes. And yet, we have dominated Earth, not because of our bodies, but because of our minds, because we learn, adapt, and evolve faster than any other creature. The aliens thought in linear patterns, structured, calculated, precise. Their entire civilization, their war strategies, their technologies, they were all built on logic, efficiency, and predictable outcomes. But humans thrive in chaos. We are reckless, unpredictable, and relentless. We don't always follow patterns, and that's why we win. When the alien fleet staggered for even a moment, humanity didn't waste time questioning why. They attacked. The experimental weapons, once hidden in classified government facilities, were now unleashed at full force. High-frequency electromagnetic pulses disrupted the fleet's communication systems, making coordination between ships almost impossible. Quantum-based jamming devices scrambled their sensors, blinding them to incoming attacks. And then, something even more unexpected happened. The alien fleet tried to adapt, but they couldn't. Their entire civilization had spent centuries mastering a single dominant form of warfare. They had never encountered an enemy like humanity, an enemy that refused to play by the rules. The aliens had built their warships for overwhelming superiority. Massive, heavily armored vessels designed to dominate planets in direct combat. But humans? We don't fight fair. We don't meet strength with strength. We exploit weaknesses. The moment scientists realized that the alien shields had trouble adapting to certain frequencies, they recalibrated their weapons to fire in unpredictable energy patterns. The aliens' highly organized formations, once thought to be their greatest strength, became a death trap. They relied on synchronized movement, but Earth's attacks had thrown them into disarray. The once imposing fleet now resembled a panicked swarm, struggling to react to an enemy that refused to follow logic. And then, humanity discovered the aliens' greatest weakness, something so simple, so fundamental, that it changed the course of the battle in an instant. The alien ships, for all their power, weren't built for endurance. They were designed for swift planetary takeovers. Quick, efficient, no resistance. Their energy systems were optimized for short bursts of overwhelming force, not prolonged warfare. They never expected a prolonged battle. They never expected humanity to fight back this hard. What began as an invasion quickly turned into a desperate struggle for survival, but not for humanity. For the invaders. The once invincible warships began to falter, their energy reserves draining faster than they could replenish. Their weapons, once devastating, now fired less frequently. Their shields, once unbreakable, began to flicker and collapse under the relentless human assault. Earth was no longer the hunted. Earth had become the hunter. For the first time since they arrived, the alien commanders hesitated. Their fleet was crumbling, their forces scattering. The creatures they had dismissed as primitive had done the impossible. They had turned the tide. The aliens had arrived believing they would conquer Earth in mere hours. Instead, they were now facing a species that refused to be defeated. And at that moment, they knew. They had made a terrible mistake. The silence that followed was deafening. For the first time since their arrival, the alien fleet was no longer moving forward. Their once dominant warships, now scarred, broken, and struggling, drifted in Earth's orbit like wounded beasts. The battle they had expected to win in mere hours had turned into a catastrophe they never saw coming. They had come as conquerors, But now they were survivors. On the ground, the world erupted into a mix of celebration and disbelief. People who had spent days living in fear, watching the skies with dread, now looked up with something different in their eyes: pride, resilience, and power. Humanity had done the impossible. Not only had we survived, we had won. But this victory had come at a cost. Major cities bore the scars of the battle: damaged infrastructures, failed systems, lives lost in the chaos. Yet, amid the destruction, something profound had happened. Nations stood together. For the first time in history, there were no borders, no rivalries. Only one united species, standing strong against the greatest threat they had ever faced. And now, the question was no longer, can we survive? It was, what happens next? The few remaining alien ships, crippled and stripped of their dominance, were faced with a decision. Would they retreat? Would they surrender? Or would they strike back in one final act of desperation? Some ships tried to flee, their damaged engines sputtering as they attempted to escape Earth's gravity. But humanity wasn't finished yet. Military forces launched a final coordinated strike, targeting the escaping ships with advanced weaponry. One by one, they fell from the sky, crashing into the ocean, into remote deserts, into the vast emptiness of space. For the first time, the invaders felt fear. The creatures they had once dismissed as weak, primitive, and unworthy had defeated them in battle. And now, they were left with only one option. The surviving alien ships, their forces in ruins, sent out a final transmission, a distress signal. But was it a call for help? A plea for mercy? Or was it a warning to others? Had Earth just become a name feared among the stars? One thing was certain: we were no longer just another species in the galaxy. We were no longer prey, waiting to be conquered. Humanity had proven something to the universe that day. We were fighters, survivors, warriors, and if anyone else out there was watching, thinking of challenging Earth next, they would think twice. The battle was over. The alien fleet, once an unstoppable force, now lay in ruins, some ships burning in Earth's atmosphere, others drifting powerless in the vast emptiness of space. What was meant to be an easy conquest had turned into the greatest defeat in their history. And the ones they had underestimated, the species they thought would fall without resistance, had proven to be far more dangerous than they ever imagined. The aliens' biggest failure was not in their technology, their tactics, or their numbers. It was in their arrogance. They believed Earth was weak. They assumed humanity was too divided, too fragile to stand against them. They thought we would kneel the moment they arrived. They had no idea who they were dealing with, because humanity is different. We are survivors. We have fought through wars, disasters, and extinction-level events. And every time, we came back stronger. Every time we adapted, we evolved, we refused to be erased. The aliens had vast technology, but they lacked resilience. They had advanced ships, but they lacked the human spirit. And in the end, that's why they lost. As the final remnants of the alien fleet fled into deep space, one thing became clear. Earth was no longer just a blue planet floating in the cosmos. We were now a force to be reckoned with. And somewhere, in the farthest corners of the universe, others were watching. Other civilizations, other empires, other beings who once saw Earth as nothing more than a small, insignificant world, would now see something else. They would see a warning. Because if an advanced alien race, one that had conquered countless worlds before, couldn't break us, then who could? If anyone out there was thinking of making Earth their next target, they would think twice. The world would never be the same. Humanity had stepped into a new era, one where we were no longer just Earthlings, but a species known across the stars. What would come next? Would the aliens return, seeking revenge? Would another species try to test our strength? Or had we just taken our first step toward exploring the universe ourselves? One thing was certain: we are no longer alone, and after today, the universe knows our name. What if this really happened? What if we weren't just the hunted, but the hunters? Would humanity truly unite against a greater threat, or would our divisions hold us back? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more mind-blowing stories and scientific breakdowns of the unknown. Until next time, stay curious, stay prepared, and never stop questioning the universe.